Hello everyone, it's Jonathon Chatman. Today is March 30th, 2020. A lot's been going on since I last spoke to you guys, and the last time was when I went to Kentucky Raceway, I believe, and that was in November, I think, in the middle of November, I think. So I just want to give you guys an update on what's been going on. I'm trying to keep video of everything that's been done. Video is much better. You know, you can always go back to it. Away from the car scene and the racing scene, we got major stuff going on in the U.S. We got the coronavirus going around. You know, it's really bad, and it's killing a lot of people who aren't very healthy, a lot of elderly people and people whose health system is compromised, I guess. So I guess they said young people are getting it, but it's not necessarily killing them, you know. So it's just like a bad flu, I'm guessing. So I mean, it's so bad that they're shutting, all the businesses are shut down, trying to keep the spread of the virus from getting larger. So, but thanks to me having a very good job, UPS, there's no way they can shut us down. You know, we keep everything moving. So I'm fortunate to be able to work every day. And a lot of people are not as fortunate. A lot of the restaurants are all shut down. So, don't want to get too much on that. So I just want to give you a little bit of update on that. And then there's been quite a bit going on in the garage here. First things first, I want to address BECK. It ended up the year very good. The car was very consistent. The car was running the numbers I thought it should run. It still could have been a little bit quicker, but from where I came from, I'm totally happy with what it was running. And I was racing pretty good too, though. It had good 60 foots. You know, I think best 60 foot might have been 142 or maybe 143. I think I don't have all my tickets here to verify that, but it was low 140s, and the best it went was a 675 with at like 99 mile an hour, shifting it at 68, and it was running great, you know, and consistent too. So I was happy with everything. And that motor, I just want to keep this on record. That motor is a 350 two-bolt main with an 11-to-1 older TRW. I can't think of the darn number. I have all those numbers in my mind, but I can't think of it right now. It's the old LT1 piston, something 03. I can't think of the name of it right now. So, but it's an 11-to-1 piston, TRW forged piston with a scat rotating assembly, scat crank, scat rods, 5/7 rods. So it's a 30 over motor, standard rings, no race rings or nothing like that. The block was decked to zero deck. I wanted to get the most compression I can with this 11-to-1 piston. So that's the block. The cam I have is a Doug Herbert cam, 536, 557, solid cam in it, and with BECK, it has 1615 crane roller rockers, the older crane. Nick gave me a set that he had in his garage, which these are the roller rockers that I like. They're old, but they're very good and durable, and they're thinner and smaller than the newer version, like the 1.5s or 1.6s. Man, those things are like big and bulky, like. So I'm thinking they would be even heavier, although they are aluminum. But that's what I have on there. Titanium retainers. I have a roller cam spring in this solid cam, but I took the inner spring out, so I just have a single spring in there, and I got a seat pressure of about 120 at the seat, which is what you want with a solid cam, and I think open pressure might be 325, 350. I think that's what it is. That's the cam setup. My heads are the Dart Pro ones, 205, 5 valves, 1.6 exhaust. A little bit of work done inside of it, but just a little grinding. I match ported the intake to, this is the design that Brother Ray came up with years ago, and that's part of the key to our speed as far as our cars run, why our cars run a little bit better than other people's cars. A lot of people use the Felt Pro 1206 intake gaskets, and that's what a lot of them come from. Dart come from other places. They use the 1206, which is a little bit smaller in diameter. The ones we use is the Mr. Gasket 5823s, and I think it's the maybe extra large port or large port. Then there might be an extra large, but we're the next step down from the biggest one, the intake gasket that Mr. Gasket sells. So we're the next step below that. I don't know if it's large or extra large, but that's which one we matched ours to. I think all of our intakes are matched to all of that, so we do all of our heads that way because it's always proven to work well for us. So I have to go back a little bit. My times that I was telling you when it went a 675, that was with the Fel Pro 1206's intake gaskets I had on. That was last year. I had so many different problems. I just wanted to make sure everything was safe. So I went with that 1206 gasket. It's just a safe gasket to fit on where there would be no leaks around it. With the one that we have, the bottom of the runner is very, very thin, so you have very little material to actually to mount it. So over the winter, I was thinking about everything. The car was still running good, so I wanted to put my old intake gasket back on, which one we always ran for years. So that's what I decided to do. So I took that back off over the winter, took the 1206s off, and that I have my Mr. Gasket 5823s on. So that's one change that I did from last year. That's the only change that I did on the motor. I didn't change anything else. Everything's the same. I run my valve lash, I think, at 20. 20 or 22, it's not gonna make that much of a difference though. So I think I have mine at 20. I forgot what spark plug I have in there. I think I have them gapped at 45. I went through all kind of stuff, but I think the spark plugs I have now are working very well. I think it's my Champion plugs that I have. Champion race plug. I think that's what I'm going with. But that's all that I have in the motor. That's all that I did with the motor. So I'm hoping that little bit of a change will get me maybe another 10th in the ET. If that happens, I will be totally happy. I just think this motor should run just a little bit faster than what it ran last year, which I'm just talking just a little bit. That was the change I did on the motor. Timing, I have right around 38 to 40, that much. It doesn't make that much difference either. I think I was always towards, 38. Um, so anyway, I'm right around that area. Shifted at 68. I showed you guys all of my wiring that Nick did for me. I'll show you. I'll give you a little more visual of everything again, but I just wanted to tell you what was going on. I also did one other change as far as the chassis. Um, I had last year when I was racing, my bottom control arm was the stock control arm. I kept noticing my 60 foots, man, would bounce around like crazy. And then the last race, one race I raced, man, it just bounced around. And I lost the race because the 60 foot went off. And I said, something's wrong. I got under the car, crawled around, started looking, and found out that my control arm had cracked right around where the bushing was, right in the front on this driver's side. Now, once again, that was the original 68 lower control arm. We're talking 40. This is 2020, and this is 68. Almost 40 years of those things. So they did their job, though. So I replaced them with a JEGS lower control arm, non-adjustable, which I didn't care. I put that on, went back to Edgewater. The week after that, 147. I think about 4 or 5 runs, 147. I was extremely pleased. So I said I'm going to change my upper control arm since, they're original 68s also. I got out under there and looked. I didn't see anything cracked or anything, but I said, well, winter is here, and I didn't have anything to do, so I went on and replaced them with an adjustable upper control arm. But I'm not going to adjust it any kind of a way, but other than my stock setting, I wanted to go right back stock. So that's what I replaced. That bottom control arm was already placed when I was running 675. So the only thing I changed was that upper control arm. And like I said, I'll get down there and show you. Those are the only changes that I did from the suspension to the motor and my wiring. Wiring shouldn't do anything other than maybe losing a little bit of weight. BECK was 2750. That's what it weighed. So I stripped all of the wiring out. So I'm hoping for it to be a little bit lighter. But other than that, that's all what was going on there. So that should be the total update of BECK. Also, I had so much time on my hand, and I had a very productive overtime Christmas season. So I made a little bit of extra money though, and I was talking with Ray, and Ray said, "John, you ought to try to do another motor, man. Just to have a backup. And I would never had that done in my life. I've always, ran one motor, and I could have used it last year or the year before that, because last 4 years has been very difficult motor-wise. At the start of each year, I was doing another motor. So hopefully, Lord willing, this year I don't have any problems with this motor. This motor here, I counted all my runs, and I was somewhere right around 180 runs on this motor. It's still, 1 year old. So 180 runs in 1 year. I raced a lot, and I went a few rounds. So that's 180 runs in 1 year. That's the most I've ever done. So I'm able to race a lot, and I try to race every time I can. So, like I said, back to over the winter, I had a friend of mine who sold me a block and crank, and I said I'm going to do another motor. So I got my stuff together and stuff together, and took the motor up to Ohio Crankshaft. They did this motor and the motor before that. Glenn normally did all of my motors, but it was hard for him to make time for me to get the motor done, and I wanted stuff done at a certain time. I didn't want to have to wait, 6 or 7 or 8 months, so that's why I went back with them. Their prices was reasonable, and they get it out in a quick time. They don't delay, so they'll get you done within a reasonable amount of time. So I sent the motor up to them and I asked them to check it out, and that's this motor over here to the left of me. I'll show you it. They called me back and said the motor, one cylinder needed a sleeve in it, so it had like a crack in it. But sleeve motors are no problem at all, though. So they put a sleeve in this motor. This motor is a 4-bolt main motor. First 4-bolt main motor I've had in probably 10, 15 years. All of my mother's has been 2-bolt mains, and I've never had any problem with the 2-bolt mains. I had all kind of problems when I was putting this motor together with 2 different cranks. First I bought an Eagle crank, trying to go least expensive. That thing was junk, man. It was out of balance. I did all the work over Nick's house. Thankfully, Nick has all the parts, and we were able to check all this stuff out. If not, if I would have did it over here, I would have put that mug together, and it wouldn't have lasted very long at all. So then I took that back to Jegs, and then thought about it. I said, I'll just get another scat setup, which is what I'm running in this one. And Nick talked me into it. He said, John, if I were you, I would call Ohio Crank and have them match you up a setup, man. It might be a little bit more, but it'll be all done. That bottom half will be all theirs. Plus, their cranks are all American made. Scat is Chinese. Eagle is Chinese. So you don't know what kind of quality you get with that stuff. Sometimes stuff is good. Sometimes stuff is bad. I had 2 Eagle cranks that went bad, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Tore a brand new motor up that I had. Didn't even last 8 runs, and it blew up. So I called them back and asked them, can they get me it set up? They said, absolutely, man. So I got a Ohio crank in there. I got a 5.7 rod. I don't know what kind of rod it is, but it's one of their setups, and it's all matched and balanced with theirs. And I have a flat top 4-valve relief forged piston, another Speed Pro piston, which is TRW Speed Pro. They're both the same. So regular old rings in there. It was a whole setup. They had a whole package, and it was about the same as my scat setup. So it still worked out all right. So I got all that set up from them, and I put everything together myself. Nothing fancy. Cleveite bearings. And then the cam is the exact same cam as what I have in this motor. Ordered it from Doug Herbert, 536, 537. This one I had they did skim the deck. They just wanted it to be true, but I didn't have anything taken down like to try to get compression. I just wanted it to be flat and level. So I put all that together and everything worked well. I was going to use an old set of heads that Ray had, just trying to save myself some money, knowing it would have been a little bit slower, but I didn't too much care. I was just trying to save money. Ray had a set. Actually ended up talking with my buddy Ernie. He had a set of old Sportsman 2s that he had that he's not going to use because he runs Vortex stuff. He sold it to me for a good price. I bought them bad boys and went through them, checked everything out. They all looked good. Did a little bit, ported it to my 5823s. Did a little bit of grind work inside of it. Actually, I got we got a video on Dominic's website of me flowing those heads. So it's pretty cool, though. Victor Jr. intake on here, another one that Ray had. BECK has a Holly strip dominator on it, 2-inch spacer on it. there's one other thing that I did change on BECK, which I forgot about. I had a Barry Grant 750 carburetor on it, but it was Nick's. And he was ready to put his motor back together, so he needed his carburetor back. I said, that's fine, man. I told him that thanks for letting me use it. So I had my old Barry Grant, which I ran 10, 15 years ago, just sitting around here. Gave it to Nick, and man, he checked it out and said, you know, there was a couple things wrong with it, but he actually fixed it. It was one air bleed that was blocked up that made the car just run like so rich, or, you know. So anyway, he cleaned it all up. We got new parts in it, you know, which is just needle and seat and squirters, power, your accelerator pumps, and then gaskets and everything, all new. So that's the update I had on that. That's the 750 on there. Back to this one, Victor Jr. with the 2-inch spacer on there. Sportsman 202, 1.6 steel heads. Those are aluminum heads with 1.5 rockers, not 1.6s like this one. Just a set of rockers that Ernie had sold to me, you know, a while ago. Plus 100 push rods. I don't think I have lash caps on there. Nope, I sure don't. Got lash caps on this one, but this one I do not. 5823 intake gaskets, and that's basically it. Broke it in over Nick's house on his engine run stand, and that thing was pretty cool, man. That engine run stand I actually love. So that inspired me. I said, when I get this motor built, hopefully I don't need this motor for several years. I'm hoping nothing goes wrong with this motor. But I just didn't want to have this brand new fresh motor just sitting over in the corner, not being used, not being able to start it up. So I wanted to make my own run stand. I wasn't going to buy one, so I basically used the engine stand that I had and built some stuff around it. So with all that being said, I can show you guys some stuff now. Alright, so let's go straight to the engine run stand. Hopefully you have enough light. This is my old GoPro camera that I used to get all my runs in the car. All of the stuff that I have here was all stuff that Ray and myself and Stan had accumulated. Between us and even Vern too, we got so much stuff just like you wouldn't believe, man. This was my control box that was in BECK that I ran for years. So I had it over in the corner with a bunch of wiring. I said, man, I'll use this. Then I made me a little bracket right here to mount this thing to. This was Ray's old Sun tack. I had to wire it up. It works. I had this temperature gauge for one of my spares. It works. I got 3 or 4 of these oil pressure gauges, you know, that I didn't have to buy. My old valve covers, my old headers that I ran last year. These are 1 5/8" headers. This is my spare, well, Ray's spare Tilton starter. I put a brand new starter on BECK, you know, thinking I thought I had problems, but that wasn't it. Ray had this fuel pump over his house, and the regulator, and that's Ray's carburetor. That's an 850 carb. I got 750 on BECK. Went through and put new gaskets on it. Accelerator pump, 50cc accelerator on the back, 30cc on the front. My old valve covers, brand new distributor, base. Well, actually the top two. So I got a new, well, that stuff doesn't matter. That stuff would all be switched off if something happens. the base would still stay in there, and I would swap everything and put my cap and coil and rotor, my cap and stuff on this and just drop it right in. I'm thinking if something would happen, I'm thinking even probably wanting to try this carb, because this thing runs great, man. It sounds just incredible, when you fire it up. Vern had an old battery that was in his garage. He let me borrow. So Uncle John just needs a charge. I got my battery charger. That's my alternator, so I just keep that going when I let it run. My gas can is my fuel tank. I just put a little gas in between there. Old line that Ray had. You can see my water pump setup. And get you a little bit of light. My water pump setup, I just got one fan belt running all the way around there, and it keeps the water pump going so it can flow some water, through the whole block and everything. This was an old radiator that Stan had at the house. It leaks, but who cares, man? I don't care, just as long as I can start it and put a little water in it and let it circulate a little bit. In the winter, I'll drain the water out of this block anyway, so I don't have to worry about nothing freezing up or anything. So that's what we have right there. So that's that setup right there. I'm very excited about that thing. That thing is really, really cool. BECK, there's nothing really to see. Nothing has changed under here. I'll wait till my first race to change and put new oil in there. That's about it. One other cosmetic change, I don't know if you guys noticed, I got me some new lettering, and I wanted it to be green, just almost like BECK. So I had a place on my route, cut me out some lettering. I even have my name here too, but I don't think I want to do that. Jonathon L. Chatman on there. I don't know. I sort of like the mystery thing. People don't know, a lot of people know my name, but I don't know if I want it on there. Sort of keep the decals down to a minimum. Let's go back on the inside again. Oh, sorry. This is not very cool. Set this down for a bit. Alright, everybody. I don't know if you can see all of my new gauges and my new switches that Nick did. You can see my panel over there with my MSD over there. I got me a cover, aluminum cover for the shifter. Just looks neat and professional. I just wanted it looking neat. It's really, really cool. Took the door panels off just because this side over here was starting to show some wear, man. For me getting in and out of it, man, it was getting dirty and beat up and tattered. I said I might recover it again and put it back on. I just said, forget it, man. I just take it off because I had painted this black anyway. So we'll see. So that's what I have for that. The final thing is under here. I want you guys to see. Okay. Let's go over this way so you can get some light. Yeah. Can you guys see? Now this is my lower Jegs brand. Oh, here's something else I did do. I forgot about that. That's the Jegs thing that was already on there. This is something else I did also. This thing right here. It's some kind of a brace, and you can see. Oh no, that's just a little brace that you put in to help support. It makes it like a triangle. You can see my brand new upper control arm that I put on there. So I got the new upper control arm, and then that upper control arm fits, bolts right there. But then that new thing that I bought, it bolts right there also. So it makes it like one solid triangle piece though. So we'll see if all of that work right here helps make BECK a little stiffer off the line though. So that's all I did. Same old three-way adjustable shocks. I don't have any, high dollar adjustable shocks to get under there and, adjust, at a different track. A lot of guys have those, which is pretty cool though. I just don't want to spend the money for that. This is my anti-roll bar right here. Mike Fouch did that for me years ago. That stopped it from spinning. These tires are, I'm hoping they last. I've been hitting them pretty daggone good, man. So, that's a bad angle. Sorry. I don't know if you can see the dimple. Yeah, I got quite a bit under there. Quite a bit of dimple, so I should have quite a bit of life still on those though. All right, everybody. So that's about it. I just wanted to show you that thing and then give you the update on what happened as far as the motors, both motors that I have, and the original motor in BECK. All right, everybody. So we'll talk with you another time. Goodbye. Hey, everybody. This is Jonathon Chatman. You haven't heard from me since the last year. I think in November of 2020. The date today is February 23rd, 2021. Where am I? I'm at the origination point of C&D Racing. I don't know if you guys can see it. C&D Racing. This is where it all started right here. Address 1663. This is where we all grew up. Stan, Ray, Jonathan, Doris, Flora, Anthony Chapman, Myrtle Chapman. This is where we all grew up. Actually, Vernice Dumas and Tanisha Coleman. We all grew up here at this location right here. This is the garage. This garage here wasn't here when we grew up. Ray had this built. Okay, so I won't go too much into that. But my plans was to give you guys a full detail of this vehicle right here. The El Camino, the El Dog, the Golden Goose. This is Stanley Chapman's car. 71 El Camino. Nothing fancy, no SS, no nothing. He probably had this car 25, 30 years. We here at the C&D and the Chapman residence, we believe in holding on to our stuff for a long, long time. We don't get rid of stuff. We hold on to it for a long time. I wish I'd have shown you before shots, to give you a little more appreciation of what I've been doing over here. So what's been going on is my eldest brother, Stanley Chapman, is going through some health issues. He's not, at the best of health. So the Lord put in my mind to sort of fix the car up. He had plans on doing a lot of things, but his health went a different way, and he wasn't able to do a lot of the things that he wanted to do to it. So, thank the Lord, I'm physically able, and I don't have much going on. So, I decided to come over here and sort of get the car together and get it partly the way he wanted it, but a little bit of the way I wanted to, because I want to take it to the track and race it and see what the car will do. So that's the plan. And then after it's all said and done, I'll be able to tell Stan, what I was able to do and the ET that I was able to get the car to run. Okay, so for starters, you see the car. It wasn't in this condition before. Stan had 2 new fenders and a door. Not a new fenders, but he had fenders that he got from another vehicle and a door, a driver's door, that he got from another El Camino, and wasn't able to put them on. So that's part of what I did. First things first. Let's start with the motor and the power plant of the car. This motor right here is a 406 cubic inch Chevrolet motor. The bottom of it, I don't know about the crank. I think it's just a stock GM crank. I don't even think it's a scat crank or anything. I think it's a stock GM crank with the 5.7 rods. I don't know what brand of rods. I think the pistons are SRP pistons, which is a 9-to-1 flat top. I think it only has 2 valve release. So those are a lot better. Well, they just give you a little more compression with 2 valve release instead of 4 valve release. So it's a 30 over 400. I don't know about the deck height. I'm not certain about that. That's the bottom half. The heads are Dart Platinum series iron steel heads, 205 valves, 1.6 exhaust. I think the flow numbers are like 276, 278, something like that. They flow pretty well, but the good key is they were advertised at a 49 cc chamber head, small chambered head, and with I think the guy who did the work is Glenn LaCrome. He normally does all of our work. He did the work, and we asked him to CC the heads. I think he said it came out to be like 52 cc's, which is still outstanding. And what Glenn said, I don't know the cc's of the valve release. I can probably look that up and get a little more accurate number on the compression. But what Glenn said, he think it was like 13-to-1, maybe even 13.5-to-1 with that CC head and that piston. And like I said, I don't know about deck height. I don't know if it was, zero deck, so I really don't quite know. That could make, quite a bit of compression difference also. It has the, I think the Felpro gasket, so nothing thin. I think it's just a normal 41 cc thickness head gasket. It got the Scorpion 1.5 roller rockers on it. Got a stud girdle on it. The camshaft is a 630 Doug Herbert solid roller cam. Nothing else there. The intake is a good one, a Super Victor intake. That's what's on there. You can see stock HEI ignition with a good super coil. He doesn't have the distributor locked out. It has the springs in it. The carburetor has a 1-inch. I put the 1-inch open spacer on it. When Stan ran it, he had a 1-inch 4-hole spacer on it. It is a 850. It was a stock 850. He took the choke lever out of it to give it more airflow, but it's nothing else fancy. It's not like it's a big flowing race carburetor. It's a stock 850. It has no power valves in front and back. I think the jetting is 94s in the front, 95s in the back, with power valve block offs in it. I think that's it. I put the carburetor linkage on there. I did all that. It's similar to my setup. I just like my setup like that. He had a different setup. I just didn't care for that setup. This setup, you got half-inch line coming all the way up to 3/8, and then 3/8 all the way out to the carburetor. So there's going to be no way that thing is starving at all. What also I did was it had a stock GM alternator on it. I had another one-wire alternator in my archives, so I brought that over here. That makes it look very nice, though. I also changed the water pump from the steel water pump that he had. That water pump saved 10 pounds off the front. The steel one, the other one was 15 pounds. That one is 5 pounds. I also have one more thing. I have a aluminum groove pulley that I have ordered. It hadn't come yet. 1 3/4 headers. I put new spark plug wires on it. I put those fabricated valve covers on there to make it look nice. What else did I do? Also took off. He had the sway bar on there. That was one of the stand setup. I took that sway bar off. I think that sway bar might have been, I can't remember the weight, 10, 12 pounds. Lost weight that way, and then it frees up the front end. I took his radiator out. He had a steel radiator. This one is an aluminum radiator I bought. I think that the steel one was 25 pounds. I think this one is 15 pounds. I thought it would have, weighed a lot less, but that's all that you get from that. That's that part on this side. Also rewired the car from inside to the back. I put new battery cable, as you can see, from there all the way to the back. Let's look at that. I went all the way to the back. Put a new Optima battery in it. Sorry about all the other junk. This is, just stuff that I've been doing. So I got a lot going on. New Optima battery. New battery cable from front to back. Brand new, I think it's 1 gauge. Heavy duty battery cable. Here's a cool little trick that I did. Let me get down here. Oh, the poor old body. I don't know if you guys can see this. All this work right here. Let me try to look. That's the on-off switch right there. Over there is my relay that goes for the fuel pump. But the on-off switch, I turned it sideways here, and you see this all thread going through with the Hurst shifter ball on the end. That turns the car on and off. Push it, turns it on, pull it, it shuts the car off. Everything works to just the way you would at the track. Everything is all legit. If I have the car running and turn the car off back here, it'll shut everything down. There's no run on. So I'm proud about that. Everything works. That was that part of it. Also changed the brake front drums. Put those drums on there. I think they might be, I can't remember. I weighed everything, but I can't remember the weight savings. I think I might be losing 5 pounds on each side. So I got a new brake drum on this side and on that side. The rear, I bought brake drums, but they were actually the same weight as the ones that I have on, so I took those back. Also, Stan had these fenders. I put these fenders on. What he also had was that fiberglass bumper. I took the original front bumper off. I don't know how well you guys are seeing all this. I took that front bumper off. That front bumper was 40 pounds or 45. I think it was 40 pounds for the front bumper, and then that bumper was 3 pounds. So that was the most weight savings I had, I think, from almost everything. So that's what I did with that. You guys can also see this. That's a new quarter skin right there. So I'm going to try to hang that quarter on here and have it looking all nice and new and fresh. You know, just want it to look really, really good though. And I'm hoping to paint it the original color, which I think is a green. I have to look on the inside. I think it's green or gray. What this color is. That's my phone. I don't know what color this is. Green or gray. I think it's sort of a green. Looking at the inner part of it there. So that's my plan, is to have it painted the original color. I'm a fan of the original color stuff after the way BECK turned out. Okay, we're going to the inside. We'll go to the other side when I get around that way, but I just wanted to show you on this side. I had my good friend Nick Ribish help me out with the wiring. I took all of his wiring out. I just honestly didn't like the wiring, but I can't blame him. That's how we did stuff back in the day. You know, we did the best we could, but I just upgraded all that. Nick helped me with all this, so everything has relays. It has fused. Everything is fused and relays. The fuel pump is relays. The water pump has relays. Everything that is powered. The trans brake has relay. Line lock solenoid. Everything has a relay. And Nick made that little diamond plate for everything to fit on. The MSD is all mounted on there. The 3-step on there. What's on the 3-step? He has it coming out at 3,900. And I think the high chip is 7,000. I moved the trans brake button. My brother had the trans brake button at a different spot. He had it mounted behind. Sorry about the lighting. He had it mounted in behind where this hole was right there. I moved it to the side where I could be comfortable in racing it. You see all the gauge panel and everything. Nick made all of that up for me. I gave him the measurements, and he made it all up and wired it all up to the left over there. That's your starter button. The next one beside that, the ignition button. Then you got your fuel pump. Then you got a fan for the outside external fan. Then you got your water pump button. Then you got your line lock button. Then you got your water temperature. You got your oil pressure. You got your volt gauge. Everything works. All the lights and everything work. All of these are lighted up. So I made that little plate. Well, Nick cut the diamond plate out, and I mounted it in there. Everything looks pretty good. I also got a brand new tack. Stan had a smaller tack, which my eyes are not very good at my 57 years old. So I needed a shift light so I can be able to shift accurately. You know, so I got a monster tack with the shift light. I think I'm going to keep the original steering wheel on there. I think that'll be pretty cool. What is his Promatic shifter, which this is a Turbo 400 with a 8-inch stall in it. Nothing else fancy. 248 low gear. So when that thing comes out with that 406, she should be launching hard. What I also changed was Stan had another seat in here, like a original bucket seat. I just didn't care for that seat at all. I didn't like how it sat in the car. When you drag racing, you want to be totally comfortable, in the car. So Ernie gave me that seat right there. I think that's savings. I think that seat was 15 pounds. Stan's seat was 40 pounds. So what is that? 25 pounds I saved there. I changed Stan's fan. He had this fan right here mounted up top, right in the way of your vision. I moved that down and put it down over here. I'm going to have to do work on this door, to try to straighten it up. Try to have it looking nice. It just needs some work. I guess I call myself a body guy now, so. But I'm going to try to do all this myself, save money, and then I don't have anything else to do anyway. So that's the plan, what I'm going to do. Let me show you something else. I think I showed you that quarter, what I'm going to put on. What also was done, you see this tailgate. Stan had that tailgate on, but that wasn't on when he raced back in the day. He wanted a different look. So I took all that back off. I'm trying to get this thing as light as possible so it can run as fast as possible. So I took that back off. I also took the original bumper off, the rear bumper. That bumper was 30 pounds, and I ordered a fiberglass bumper, and hopefully that should be another 3 pounds. So maybe 25, 27 pound saving or somewhere around there of less weight. Let's get down under here. Oh, I'll show you what else is going on. Okay, if you guys can see under there, I changed the rear shocks. I think that was a big problem he was having. He had the original competition engineering shocks under there, which I don't know how old they were, but I think that was a big part of his problem of why the car wouldn't leave very well. I think it would squat and then unload itself and then squat again. When I changed from BECK and put those things on, that car was like money. So I bought a set of QA1s and put on the back. And hopefully that should solidify the rear end. You see his anti-roll bar back there. That's a 12-bolt rear end. And I remember he changed, at one point he had 456s in there. I think he put the 488s back in there, which is good also. I'm not quite certain, but I think that's what he did, which would be also good. The bottom control arms, they were boxed by Mike Fouts. So that should solidify the rear end part. What else? Anti-roll bar. I'm sorry, I got that sideways. Those are 29.5 by 10.5 Mickey Thompsons. They still got decent tread on them. They haven't been run in about 10 years. So I got to heat the heck out of them to get them a little sticky on the first hit. 488s in the back. Okay. Let me get up. Oh. All right, everybody. I'm going to this side. What also I did was I lowered the car by the springs in the back. I don't know how many inches, but I lowered it some more to have it sit lower in the back. Just have it look sweet and sort of slam to the ground a little bit. Okay. Well, what you can see on this side was this quarter right here. Marcus Dunlap did this quarter, had this quarter done because he had a wheel fall off and then just tore this whole quarter up, and then it messed that quarter up. So Dunlap fixed the rear quarter, had it all looking nice, and then what happened was Stan was out going to race, and his transmission line up front broke. Fluid came all under the back of the tires, man, and that thing got loose, and he hit the wall. So that's what you see all this is. Bam! Hit the wall, tore that door up. But this is the replacement door that I told you that he bought. So it hit there, buckled all that quarter, and hit right there. Hit that rear bumper. So after thinking about it, I'll probably just have to put another quarter on here if you want it right, instead of trying to fill all that with body putty, trying to straighten it up. That would probably be the wise thing for me to do. So here's this side of inside the car. Not much difference. This door right here is 52 pounds. I cut the inner beam out of this one. Put Lexan window in there because I just didn't want to change and put all that window mechanism back in there. I just didn't want to do all that. It seemed like it would have been pretty hard. So this window won't roll down. That other side will roll down. Let's see. You can see this side of the motor. Everything's basically the same over here. What I also changed on this side, he had power brakes on here. I took that power brake booster off, shortened the rod, or created a rod. I did a lot of work to sort of get that in there. Luckily, didn't have to change any brake line or anything. So I just scooted it back, and that lost, I think, maybe 7 or 8 pounds off the front. Another weight savings was that manual gearbox. He had the power steering gearbox in there, and then just had a hose going from one side to the other to make it work, and it worked, for years. But I wanted to change that. I had a spare one in my possession. Put that on, and it worked, man. So, and I think I might have saved maybe 15 or 20 pounds. I can't remember, but I had everything weighed, but I can't remember because it's been such a long time. Going from that steering box to that manual steer box, so that's more weight savings. I put that overflow thing in there to have it look nice. And this and this fender, so the fender and the door are all in great shape. So I don't have to do anything but sand, and then hopefully get ready to paint for that. But I got to do, strip all the paint down off of the top, and then around the back quarters and everything to get it ready to paint. That's the original door right here. I would show you the outside of it, but it's a lot to move it all around. I'll have to get new front tires. These were brand new front tires that he had on, but because the car sat for 2.5 years and did not move, and the tires went flat, these brand new good Hoosiers are wasted because they're dry rotted. And the speeds that I'm going to be running, you don't want to take a chance on anything like that. Even if you wasn't running at any speeds, you don't want to take chance on anything like that. Having a blowout when you're racing. So that's basically the ins and outs of the car. There's the fiberglass hood. Okay, so back to some other parts. The car at its last state, when Stan ran it, we got it on film. The car weighed 3165 as it set. That's without the changes that I did. Um, I'll have to get it on the scale, but my estimates is it should be under like 20, under 3,000 pounds. So 160, maybe 170, 180 pounds. I'm hoping I might have lost between all the things that I've done. Uh, there was a little bit of performance things. Um, had the coil sort of hooked up wrong. That was a problem. The carburetor was not opening up all the way. The back bowls was not opening all the way up. It was like only halfway. The rear bowl was. The front was doing okay. Um, so I did that. Got the linkage and everything very, very nice and loose. I didn't change anything else. No plugs. No, I didn't do any. I did the valve adjustment and everything 2 years ago when I put the stud girdles on there. He had me put stud girdles on, but I didn't get to double check everything like I would like. I have the opportunity now, but as I start the car now, that son of a gun sounds awesome, man. It sounds very, very good, like it's ready to do something. So performance, when Stan last ran it in the quarter, I think it went 11:15. And who knows where he was shifting. I think he was shifting it very, very low, like maybe 58 or something like that, or 55. I'm not sure. We really don't know. And then in the eighth, his best was a 693, I think, at trails. He went 693 at maybe 96 mile an hour. Um, this motor right here is well capable of being way faster than that, even at that weight. The weight that it did weigh, 3160. It should have been faster than that. I truly believe so. But now that thing is losing 150, 160, 170 pounds. And I trued everything up as far as volts and everything. It's getting full volts. It's getting full accelerator. And I'm going to be shifting the car at about 6,500, which might be still a little bit low, but that's a good starting point. Uh, and my prediction is um, it should be like 670 to 660 right off the bat. Should even be better because this motor is very powerful. This thing has everything it needs to push this car down the track. This is the fastest motor C&D has ever been a part of. So Ray had a 406 before, but not like this. Not with the good heads. Not with the compression that it has. This thing should really light some stuff up, man. So we're all excited. I'm excited. Lord willing, I'll be doing the driving, and I don't play when I drive. So if this thing can handle it, I'm gonna give it all it's got, and we're gonna see what it can handle. So I'll just keep working on it. Um, I got a lot of body work to do. That is not my favorite thing at all, body work. I don't like it at all. I'm just going to be honest with you. Um, so, um, that's about it in a nutshell. I just wanted to get this on tape. I wanted everybody to see and know what was going on. And I wish I had before pictures because she's come a long way, man. A long, long way. She was in very, very sad shape, but she's in pretty good working order. Right now, this thing could go to the track and run. All I need is my seat belts. Um, Neutral safety switch. The rear switch in the back works. Everything works. So this thing is safe and legal. What also happened was when Stan wrecked the car, he hit the frame and bent the frame over on that side, but it's been taken to uh, whatever the body and frame shop, or I can't think of the frame shop, Nelson Frame and Axle. and they welded some pieces of metal on there. That might increase the weight a little bit from the 3160, but it's all good and safe and legit. So everything's good and safe. They did the front end alignment for like a stock car, you know, and you know, so it's, you know, the tires are pointing in a little bit when you go down the racetrack as far as drag racing concerned. But it's good enough though, man. This thing should perform very, very well. So my goal was, like I said, to show you guys all the work that was done, you know, and get it on film and let you know what's happening. So the plan is to first, when the track opens, I want to take this out and get it all tuned in and ready to go, and have it just sitting in case something happens, you know. And BECK is already ready. You know, all I have to do is change. I bought a new set of headers for BECK, so I just put on a new set of headers, change the oil, and then she's ready to race, man. So that's good to know that I don't have to do a bunch of changing with BECK at all. And this thing, like I said, I'm excited, man. She should light up some stuff. She should be very impressive. And I'm hoping to go some rounds in this car, man. It should be a consistent bracket car. And hopefully I can go rounds, and it would be a blessing to win a race, you know, in my brother's car. You know, so that's the thing. This car isn't going anywhere. It'll be in our household, hopefully, you know, forever. Nobody's coming to get it, so I'm just trying to get it in good working order, and then be able to tell my brother I got her all together, man. She's good and she's painted, and then I went out and ran this time, you know, and hopefully he'll be happy and proud, you know, and hopefully, Lord willing, the Lord can heal his body and get him well enough so he can, you know, possibly, you know, get in the car. You know, that it's a ways away for that to happen, but anything can happen. So that's the plan. So I just wanted to show everybody, you know, what's been going on over here. I've been spending a lot of hours over here. This old body is tired, but it gives me something to do. Keeps my mind going instead of sitting around doing nothing. Nope, I don't want to do that. So everybody, that was it. Just want to get this on film. Hopefully Dominic will put this on the web page. Let people see what Jonathon Chatman has going on. So, Lord willing, you guys at different tracks, you might see me in another vehicle, you know, and hopefully she'll be as competitive as BECK, but maybe just a little bit faster. And that's it. So hopefully next time you see, I'll give you a little more update, and maybe some body work done, maybe the quarter getting done or getting cut off, or, you know, or getting painted or something. So that's it, everybody. So Jonathon Chatman signing off over here at 1663 and a half. This is the garage. All right, everybody. Well, we'll talk with you, and have a good night.